All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Market Disciple. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today, what we're going to discuss in this video is going to be the stimulus checks that is being talked about right now in the news. Um, so, before we start talking about stimulus checks that could be possibly or will be going out to Americans, let's first kind of backtrack and look at the past few years and see how we got here, right? So you're looking at the end of 2019, right? You start to see something called coronavirus starting to spread around the world, and then it gets here into the United States late December 2019, early January 2020. Now, as coronavirus starts to spread, we start to see businesses shut down, and then there becomes a national emergency. That basically the economy stops, businesses shut down, start to downsize, and people are home. And you have emergency lockdowns beginning somewhere in mid March, mid March. Um, so now, what are we going to do, right? People are out of jobs. The economy basically stops. No one's driving, right? Um, so the government understands that we live in a consumerist society, a society built upon consumerism, meaning Americans have to spend in order for the economy to be stable, functionable, right? So the United States government sends out stimulus checks to Americans who are home and don't have any money to spend. They send out stimulus checks, and now people all of a sudden are home doing nothing, and they're able to spend money, right? They're able to pay their bills. They're able to pay utilities. There's mortgage freezes, rent freezes, things like this, right? So we see the economy start to bounce back uh, from this crash. This sort of crash in the economy. It bounces back, but this is in 2021. Now, when we start 2022, we see the first 2 quarters of 2022, the GDP contracts, right? Contracts, and that's going to tell us a signal to us that we are in technically we're in a recession, right? Although it hasn't been officially announced by NBER, by the authorities, if you would say, but technically speaking, we're in a recession. A lot of business people are saying that we're in a recession. Other economists are saying we're in a recession. The issue is, because we have low unemployment, even though we have high inflation, even though we have 2 negative quarters of contraction, but we have a very, very low unemployment. So they're not really quick to say that we're in a recession. But anyways, uh, we're talking about stimulus checks here, right? The federal government really isn't talking too much about about stimulus checks, right? Sending stimulus checks out to Americans. If there has been any talk, it's been centered around gas relief, right? High gasoline prices. This is something that they've been talking about, but it really hasn't gained much traction in Washington. What has gained some traction is on the individual state level, where states are looking at their own situations. They're looking at the situations of their residents, and they're seeing a need to react or to act, right? And some of these states are actually are in the process of sending out stimulus checks starting this month. Okay, so I'm gonna name some of those states, and then we'll go from there. So you have California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Indiana, Maine, Minnesota, New Jersey, and New Mexico. These are some of the states that are going to be sending out stimulus checks to their residents, right? Starting here in August this month, going into the end of the year, and also continuing into 2023. So this month, actually, Colorado is going to be sending out to its residents $1,500 for inflation relief. Illinois is going to be sending out $400 checks to its residents starting in mid September. So checks are going out to these individual states, guys. We know that when the federal stimulus went out with the CARES Act, we saw a quick bounce back. We saw the stock market jump. We saw crypto go crazy, right? Stock prices soared, especially those stocks like Zoom, Peloton, Netflix, social media stocks. Uh, People were home, so people were on their computers. People were using Zoom, and people were watching Netflix, right? So those stocks we saw really, really shot up. Right now, we saw that those stocks crashed, right? Dropped 50, 60, 70, 80%. And now they're starting to make their way back up a little bit. But was that all a part of those high numbers that we saw in 2021? A lot would say that those numbers were inflated because of the stimulus checks, and we might not get to those numbers again. So here we are, guys. We're looking at states sending out stimulus checks like California, like Colorado to its residents, $1,500 checks, some $400 checks. What do you guys think? Do you think these stimulus checks are a good idea? If you're out in California or Colorado or some of these states that we mentioned that are going to receive stimulus checks, do you think it's needed? And do you think it's good for the economy going forward? So let me know, guys. I'm curious to see what you guys think. This is Market Disciple. I would ask you guys, if you made it this far, to please like the video, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you again for another video. Peace.